My story is about my dad as a young man growing up on a small farm in northeast Mississippi. He was the only boy of 8 children, which meant he had lots of responsibilities and chores on my granddad's farm. My dad said he had to pick fruit, he had to plow the fields, take care of the farm animals, and hoe the fields as well. One afternoon, my dad said he got up the nerve to ask my granddad to borrow his 1954 car to take a young lady out to a dance. My granddad told him that if you complete all of your chores and do everything that you needed to do around the house, that he would allow him to use his car. My dad said he did everything as fast as he could because he was so excited. Upon completing his chores, he said he put on his best suit, shined his best shoes, and got himself looking as sharp as a tack. He said back in those days he wore an afro and long sideburns, which they call pork chop sideburns. Upon getting out in my granddad's car, he said he ran into his cousin Excel, who was also in his father's car going out on a date. The two of them were real competitive in those days. He said they began to race their father's cars down a gravel road, and my dad ended up losing control of my granddad's car and flipping it in a ditch. He said he was so scared that someone would find out and tell my granddad that they got down in the ditch and lifted the car by hand, undamaged, and they vowed that they would never tell anybody about this accident again. While my dad was telling this story, my brother Derek and I were looking at each other with a smile on our face, and we decided that we would tell my dad about an incident that happened with his car. See, we were out in his car one afternoon when he allowed us to use it, and we too were very competitive in those days with our cousins Rocky and Earl. We ended up racing them, and my brother lost control of the car and turned it over on its side in a ditch. We lifted the car out too, and we vowed with our cousins that we would never tell anyone about this incident again. My dad looked at us with amazement on his face and a grin, and he said, "I figured something was wrong with my car, and I knew that it would have been damaged." He said, "You guys were some terrible boys.